chief correspondent, John Gizzi. John, as always, good to see you. You actually predicted in an article for Newsmax.com that Ryan may be on his way out. That was about a week ago, so obviously this isn't a big surprise for you. No. How are people on Capitol Hill, though, responding to the news, and what do you think ultimately prompted Ryan to make that decision?
People on the Hill generally expected it, albeit not the way that Speaker Ryan handled it, which is to leak it out to the press at about 8:45 this morning and then hold a news conference after the news was fait accompli. It was not unexpected, as you say. Last week, members of Congress were openly predicting he would go. And in fact, the timing comes from his friends in Wisconsin who told me he would do it sometime during the spring to let a chosen successor emerge early enough to win the June primary and hold the seat. That would be House Speaker Robin Vos, who's been described as being Cardinal Ratzinger to Paul Ryan's John Paul II, the heir apparent.
Now, John, what do you, and I know he's talked a lot about family. He did so before he accepted the position as Speaker of the House. Do you think family had something to do with his decision, or do you think it was something else?
No, I do think that part of it had to do with passing the multi-trillion-dollar budget, but also it had to do with the fact that after 20 years, and in a position he really didn't want, Paul Ryan was fed up. Look, I covered his election as Speaker in 2015 closely. He never intended to be a candidate. He was scheduled to make the nominating speech for Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy. McCarthy then pulled out of the race abruptly, fearing a long, protracted fight, and then a draft Ryan movement started, which was genuine among colleagues.
Right, and I want to talk about McCarthy. We only have a few minutes, so I do want to kind of move on if we can. We could talk to you forever because, like we always call you, you are a walking encyclopedia. But you also posted a new article, easy for me to say, on Newsmax.com today, where you say Ryan's departure from Congress paves the way for House Majority Whip Steve Scalise to take over as Speaker. Some have speculated, who you mentioned, Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy would want the job. But according to your reporting, he's not interested.
No, Kevin McCarthy is going to be like one of these people who is typecast as a majority leader forever. He had his turn in 2015, and he declined it. Steve Scalise is someone who has far better relations with the younger, more conservative Freedom Caucus member. He's certainly closer to them than either Majority Leader McCarthy or Speaker Ryan, certainly. And he's accepted by older, more establishment Republicans.
Okay, you mentioned Freedom Caucus, so I have to ask you, there are a couple other names being thrown about on our website. Chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, Mark Meadows, another name being thrown out there, Kathy McMorris Rogers. Do either one of those stand a shot?
No. And I know all of them, and they're friends of Newsmax, by the way, Kathy McMorris Rogers and Chairman Meadows in particular. But the fact is that Steve Scalise is a hero after recovering from the near-fatal shooting that occurred during the practice session for the House baseball players. He has a superb relationship with the president, as does his family, and he's well-liked throughout the House.
All right, so you think it's going to be Scalise.
Wrapping this up.
You think it's going to be Scalise. All right,
if Republicans keep control of the House.
All right, John Gizzi, as always, thanks for your time today. And be sure and check out the very latest with John Gizzi by going to Newsmax.com. Again, he was the one to predict this over a week ago. You're so good, John. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.